Hi, I'm Regan Luhrs. I'm the co-owner of the Passage Port Fairy. I'm 34 years old and I'm sitting here with Keith Kurt. My background essentially is I grew up on a farm, a merino sheep farm in the Western District. I worked there until I was about 23. Then I ventured into vet nursing and had some kids. And we were living in Hamilton at the time, and we decided that we were after a lifestyle change. Port Fairy was a place that we loved, and we wanted to retire here, but we thought, why not fast track that and come down here? We found Port Fairy, but I had to find something to do. Just walking down the street one summer, crazy summer, and when I just had a baby, and just looking at all the shops and the boutiques, there was nothing on offer for men, nothing on offer for teenagers. So that's when the ball started rolling. That was in the January. By April 2018, we had secured the lease on a store to open like a surf lifestyle store. No real hard and fast plan. We were always going to be quite fluid with how things were going to work out. From my background, veterinary nursing and farming, probably hard work and resilience come into play with that. Not a lot of other experience in the retail industry whatsoever. With the farm, we'd been doing succession planning for close to 10 years. Dad was a farmer. He also had some side investments to help set my brother and myself up. Dad works extremely hard. He always has. And he was getting to the stage where retirement was imminent, but when and how and what, that's when I went to Mum and Dad with the idea, hey, you love Port Fairy, we need somewhere to live. And yeah, they happily purchased a home down here, and we all lived together for 12 months or so. And yeah, they're really happy, and they really helped set up the shop. So that Mum still works actively within the store. We share it together. We didn't know our roles for a start because we didn't really know what we were doing, but we've sorted that out now. I essentially do a lot of the buying and the stock management and control. She does the books, and for the best part of the year, Mum actually works in the store. You know, it's been at times up to 7 days a week. What really brought us to Port Fairy and the coastal lifestyle was basically a family move. We wanted to not raise our boys in a rat race. We wanted to be as calm and collective as possible. Isn't quite working out like that with how busy we are at the minute, but we can see it's going to be much benefit to them growing up and living in a small community. I think that's key. A small community that has so much on offer. We found that in Port Fairy, like the schooling's brilliant. Having the beach there, 50-second walk up the road is just incredible. There was an established surf store here, but it probably didn't have on offer what I wanted to offer. So I could see that we were differentiating from what they had on offer. But it did make it difficult, a lot more difficult than what I thought it was going to be for a start. But now I look at where we're moving into and where they are, I don't see much of it. It's not a me versus him type scenario. Trying to juggle everything, and that's what it is. It's simply a juggling act, and it's prioritising. So I can't make long-term plans because things change from day to day. First and foremost, my kids are priority, and that will happen probably forever and a day. starting this business, our vision was to set something up and have it established when the children are at school. It gives me something to do and have a job that I could be flexible and attend their after school sports and not miss out on a lot of their childhood. So while I'm not in the shop much at all now, and the business probably isn't reaching the potential that it could be at this stage, it is a work in progress. So my life consists of my children and just keeping this business running. Getting it up and going was a lot more challenging than what I first thought. I think for myself, I needed to know that what I ventured to do was going to be worthwhile. It's not something that I could take a huge risk on and completely go down the wrong line. I had a mentor in Mike DeSassier from Strapper Surf, and he helped validate my decision in going more along the men's line rather than the ladies or evenly mixed. And it's worked. I'm really thrilled that that's how it went. I tried ladies for a little bit, but it hasn't worked in our store. Whether it's online, the competition with the boutiques that are beside us, I'm not quite sure. But in a small town, when we only have a small window of opportunity throughout the year to have big sell-through, you just need to use what works. When I was researching, I did just sit outside stores and I just saw women shopping all the time, and the men were just standing on that pavement or they were sitting on the park bench and they just had nowhere to go. And I just thought, what an opportunity. I need to capitalise on this. I need to draw those men into a store. First summer was okay. Second summer they knew we were there, and yeah, they're remembering us, which is fantastic. Research into just the demographic of Port Fairy was so interesting. For a town of population of about 4,000, just to see the tourist numbers coming in. And I haven't seen the data on last year, the tourism numbers for last year, but it seems to be growing. It's getting busier and busier all the time. So yeah, I'm pretty confident we've made the right call in the right town. Okay, so the women's apparel, I spent quite a bit of time sort of curating my buys for summer last year, making sure it was on point, just checking out the brands, just crossing over. And believe it or not, it's just not a category even on the coast that sells well. While yes, I was missing the online sales channel, like I didn't have an online store. We got a professional photographer and we did photo shoots, plugged it on Instagram and everything, but there just wasn't the sell-through for it. So again, it was space that was taken up in our store that could be utilised elsewhere. So yeah, 2 summers in, yeah, it could be a bit cutthroat and brutal, but moving forward, we feel comfortable, happy and confident with what we're doing. Yeah, okay, so the surf brands, essentially the surf brands were going to be my key in the store. That's where I focused and that's where I wanted it. But I had quite a bit of resistance for a start from neighbouring towns who, essentially threatened if they were to stock me, that they would pull their orders. So it forced us, the surf brands turned around and said, no, we can't stock you. A lot of them did. It forced us to look elsewhere and go down the lifestyle brands because I had no choice. I needed stock in the store. And I kind of feel like it shot them in the foot a little bit. I've found some absolutely fantastic, brilliant to deal with and quite transparent. The others, it's a bit of a closed book and it's really hard to navigate around. Essentially, when we had been rejected from the brands and we had to look elsewhere, another surf shop close by closed their doors and it was bought out by a bigger company. And then all of a sudden we were the hunters and then we turned to be hunted, and it was too late we'd already established with other brands. We'd already had budgets set, already indented, which is extremely disappointing because in that time frame was only like 9 or 10 months. If a decision had been made earlier, or if they actually had a look at the data that I gave them on, tourist numbers and they looked at the distance in between the towns, it could have really been avoided, and possibly I wouldn't be going down more of a lifestyle store. I could be sticking with more of a surf store. So the way I feel surf brands approaching new retailers, this is going back about 18 months to 2 years now. I don't think it's quite forward and transparent as what they should be. Everyone seems to be struggling in retail. I just couldn't understand, and I still don't understand why they would turn down a new door to open in. It was pretty crazy, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that it has happened to. And I was willing and open to give any information and data that they requested, but not answering emails and phone calls, and that sucked. First and foremost, my mentors, well and truly Mike, he runs a roofing business at Strapper, there's no doubt about that. I also looked at getting our own merch done with our awesome logo, done by Felicity Little at Little Me and My in Port Fairy. We just had so many comments, but I had to find the right garment and the right prints, so stumbled across Sharky's at Lawn. How I found Guy was I just was driving down the coast. I just wanted to have a look at stores for fit out, just to get a little bit of inspiration, because it's honestly not something that I had looked at before, and I had this tiny 3-month window. And I just found Sharky's gear and I loved it, just his print, and then to find out that he prints everything by hand is quite unique, and that's what I wanted with our apparel. So, and it's just gone gangbusters, which is, well, for a small town, which is pretty awesome. Mike is just an absolute wealth of information, but he said never let anyone tell you no. Never let anyone tell you no, you can't do it. If you think you can do it, go for it. So that always sticks with me. Guy is more, we do speak about our own merch and apparel, and this is quite hard because brands diverse so much that everyone does things so differently, so it's hard to give an overall right. It's really hard in the surf industry because I think I've been kicked enough and kicked down that I've got a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Yeah. And even this COVID stuff, there wasn't a lot of support for a start, which hurt. And that's probably in comparison to the lifestyle brands that I carry as well, to see what was on offer there and the help and support, and then to not receive as much from the major surf brands. But in saying that, the smaller brands were fantastic. They were the first ones to reach out. Rhythm were fantastic with their support. Offense, also really good. And look, you had the messages of mental support from your brands. That's fantastic. But at the minute, everyone knows that cash flow, everyone's really stuck with stock. What actually do you have to offer that can help us in this time? I understand that we can't cancel stock. If everyone was able to cancel their orders, well, holy moly, we wouldn't have anything at the end of this. But yeah, a little bit of leniency and guidance, and maybe some, it sounds bad, but some decent discounts on taking your orders. I find with the packaging, I find it crazy how we've got these surf brands, or that live and breathe the ocean, and yet they just don't embrace where we need to be going forward with recycling and sustainability in our environment. I'll shout out to Offen's, 100% the best at it. Why can't we just? Every single garment comes wrapped in plastic. Why can't we go and find an alternative? Surely, I find the brand's big enough that they would be able to source it. We're a small store, and the cornstarch bags, biodegradable. Like, that is so simple. Another thing is just the packaging and the warehousing. I've received a box this big with 6 hats in it. in a single delivery,
Yeah.
when I've had other boxes in the same order, it could have easily gone in. So yeah, it's just reducing the imprint and probably getting their warehousing right to be able to pack orders. Rusty are great with their orders as well. Like, they'll pack everything in a box. They'll make it sure it all fits and there's no excess stuff that I have to get rid of. So COVID-19's thrown a spanner in the works. Coming into our second autumn and winter, I was really ambitious that it was going to go quite well, relying quite heavily on the tourist market. Last winter, I didn't have the brands in the stock that I wanted, so yeah, I was pretty pumped for this winter. COVID, we got Folk Festival in, which was the last sort of weekend people were allowed out and about, but then to sort of be cancelled Easter onwards has really hurt. It's basically put Port Fairy on a map. It's a massive folk festival, bands. It's absolutely incredible. You can get like into thousands and thousands of people, so it's dropped off the last few years, probably with quite a bit of competition in the March long weekend, but yeah, Port Fairy, it's just an epic weekend. All the Airbnbs are filled, Warrnambool's filled, buses come over to us. It's fantastic. I felt that there was going to be a lockdown at some stage, but for it to actually happen was awful. So yeah, probably spent a good week crying. I couldn't get clarity and focus and know how to move forward. So I had planned to do an online store this winter anyway, so that fast-tracked that. But then that's been put on hold because we're actually quite fortunate to be able to break our lease in the building that we're in, and my parents have bought a commercial property in Port Fairy. So the move now, so we're moving into a pop-up store for a few months and then going into our forever store at the start of September. Timing of COVID is dreadful in terms of sales, but in terms of the business, and if you have to close, let's close now. It's perfect timing. So the online store will get up and going, but I've never seen that as the golden answer to everything. Everyone's doing exactly the same thing. None of us have traffic directed to our websites. Yeah, so yeah, it'll be there for probably, my local customer or the tourist that loves our store, and then I do hope to grow it. So I'll continue with getting a local photographer, Joe O'Keefe, to do some professional photos, have a few models, and just shop our Instagram and our website, and yeah, hopefully there's growth. So it's been a really good time to sit and reflect. So the stimulus packages, for a start, there seemed to be nothing that our business had qualified for, just with the way that our business is set up. But we're up for the $10,000 tax rebate. We've got that application in. And then recently, actually yesterday, the money come in for JobKeeper. So I was able to get that. So ASB definitely helped with that. A little chat in the store saying that you'd put the link up there. I followed that, which was brilliant. So I went to the links for ASB, found it, I'm not sure if all retailers were the same, but it was a little bit overwhelming when you were dealing with everyone else. So shot the links to the accountant, and they dealt with it for me. COVID-19, like, what a swell that we're having here. It's pretty epic. Like, numbers of along the beach there have been 70 to 90 some nights, which is awesome. Mums, dads, kids, everyone. So there is definitely an element there for opportunity to grow our business. But then at the same token, has that time already passed, and will I be grabbing something that's gone? So I'm still torn between that. We sold out of sex wax. Leg ropes have been amazing. So yeah, that's awesome. And I think it's actually drawn a new customer to town. So there may have been a few crew that would go elsewhere, or they'd grab what they wanted when they were in Torquay. Some of them had never stepped foot in our store. Last weekend, we went to sales prior to packing up all of our boxes, and there were locals that had said, "Oh, this is awesome, I've never been here before. leg rope, fins, wax, which is awesome. So yes, I think there is a silver lining to COVID-19, particularly in areas where there is quite a bit of travel. Port Fairy, we're lucky, named number 6 town in What If in 2020 after getting the number 1 town in 2019. So yeah, I think anywhere along the surf coast this summer will be epic, so long as the second wave doesn't get us, that's for sure. Yeah, and then yeah, it will be interesting. It would be awesome if they just closed the borders till like the 30th of January and forced everyone domestically over that summer period. Yeah, hopefully it just reignites that passion for people to shop and support local, not just in retail, but you know, having a purpose. Yeah. Absolutely, it's a huge advantage to us. And yeah, again, being in Port Fairy, it's just sweet. Yeah, I just really want the surf brands to just open up and give people a go. Yeah, so do your research, listen to what they're saying. When we opened the store, and it was a surf store, we had a man walk in and yeah, I'd heard of Keith Curtin and Go Surf, no idea who Keith Curtin was, and it was quite it was quite good. Keith saw an opportunity for us to, you know, just offer some street presence for his brand, and yeah, we saw it as an opportunity to partner with someone that had knowledge in the industry. And yeah, it's just both businesses, you know, we're not combined, just offer that little bit of support here and there. It's fantastic. He runs a ripping business, and yeah, we've got his logo, we've got our logo on his rashies, and his presence within our store, surfboard hire out the front of the store, which is fantastic. I think it's worked well for both.
It's coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. It's been great for us. We
yeah.
also have that. We've always wanted that opportunity to have a presence in town, and I think it works well deep in the local community. So,
absolutely, absolutely.
Teaching those customers, those new kids every single day. So.
Yes, yeah. So, and yeah, it's, you just have the conversation, and you know, a lot of kids just straight out of the water and they come down to our store. So yeah, it's been fantastic.